In the quiet countryside, a serene farm stretches out under the early morning sun. Rolling hills dotted with grazing cattle, a picturesque barn painted red, and fields of green create a peaceful panorama. Birds chirp softly, and the occasional lowing of cows fills the air. In the vast reaches of the cosmos, he traversed countless worlds, each with its unique life forms and ecosystems. Yet none have intrigued him as much as the peculiar bond between humans and their domesticated animals on this blue planet called Earth. An alien spacecraft, sleek and silent, lands discreetly on the outskirts of the farm. The ship's hatch opens, and an alien disguised as a human steps out, adjusting its human-like features and attire. The alien, now appearing as a tall, curious man, makes his way toward the farmstead. His mission was simple: to observe and understand the ways of these earthlings. He chose a farm, a place where humans and animals coexist in a symbiotic relationship. Now the alien approaches a farmer working in the fields, his hands weathered but steady as he tends to the crops. The farmer looks up, wiping sweat from his brow, and offers a welcoming smile. "Howdy there. You must be the new help. Welcome to our farm. I'm John." John, the human farmer, welcomed me with open arms. Little did he know, I was here to study the intricate dynamics of his world. The alien, now known as Riley, follows John around the farm, observing his every move. John feeds the cattle, his hands gentle as he pats a cow's side, checking its health. Day by day, I watched as John cared for his animals with a level of dedication and affection that was both perplexing and fascinating. He spoke to them, not as mere beasts, but as companions. "Hey Bessie, how are you today? Feeling better?" John asked the cow. The cow, Bessie, responds with a soft moo, nudging John's hand as he scratches behind her ear. The alien notes the interaction, a mix of curiosity and confusion evident in his expression. Riley helps John with various farm tasks, from milking cows to herding sheep. The tasks are physically demanding, yet the alien finds a strange sense of satisfaction in the work. I joined in the daily routines, learning the ways of the farm. The animals responded to John's touch and voice, displaying a trust that seemed almost familial. As days turn into weeks, Riley begins to understand the bond between John and his animals. One evening, after a long day of work, John and Riley sit on the porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. In my world, such bonds are unheard of. We view other species as either threats or resources. But here, on this farm, I witnessed a different kind of relationship, one built on mutual respect and care. You know, there's something special about this place. It's not just about raising animals for food or profit. It's about the connection we share with them. They trust us, and in return, we take care of them. John's words resonate with me. Perhaps, in understanding this bond, I could bring a new perspective to my own kind. A storm hits the farm one night, and Riley witnesses John's unwavering dedication as he rushes to protect the animals from the harsh weather. John braves the storm, ensuring each animal is safe and sheltered. In the face of adversity, the bond between human and animal was unshakable. It was a lesson in empathy and loyalty, one that transcended species. As Riley's time on the farm comes to an end, he prepares to leave. He stands with John in the early dawn, the farm waking up around them. "You're always welcome here, Riley. You've been a great help." Riley nods, grateful for the human's kindness and the lessons learned. As I departed from Earth, I carried with me a newfound appreciation for the human-animal bond. It was a lesson in empathy, one that transcended the boundaries of species and worlds. Back in his spacecraft, Riley looks down at the farm, now a small dot in the vast landscape of Earth. He sets a course for home, the stars stretching out before him. Perhaps, one day, my kind will learn to see the value in such connections. Until then, I will cherish the memories of my time on that humble farm. The spacecraft zooms away into the starry night sky, leaving Earth behind. The alien, now back in his homeworld, couldn't shake the memories of the farm from his mind. He was surrounded by sterile, metallic walls and advanced technology, but his thoughts were elsewhere, back on Earth. Riley, as he had been known to the humans, had experienced something transformative. The tranquil farm and the farmer, John, had left an indelible mark on his perception of life and relationships. He reported his findings to the council, a group of high-ranking officials who were more interested in exploiting resources than understanding the intrinsic value of the bonds he had witnessed. They listened with half-hearted interest, their attention more focused on strategic advantages than the lessons Riley had learned. The council's leader, Loroth, a being of immense authority and little empathy, dismissed Riley's insights. "We need to focus on our mission. Understanding these humans is secondary to our primary goal," Loroth declared, his tone final. Riley felt a growing frustration. His journey to Earth had opened his eyes to the importance of empathy and mutual respect, concepts that his own people seemed to lack entirely. He realized that his mission was not just about observation, but about bringing a new perspective to his species. One evening, as Riley sat in his quarters, a thought struck him. What if he could demonstrate the power of the human-animal bond to his people? He needed to show them, not just tell them. With renewed determination, he began to plan a return trip to Earth, this time with the intention of gathering irrefutable evidence of the relationships he had witnessed. Back on Earth, John had returned to his routine, unaware of the impact his simple life had on Riley. The farm thrived under his care, the animals healthy and content. Yet, John often thought of Riley, the quiet, observant helper who had left so abruptly. There was something about Riley that John couldn't quite put his finger on, a sense of otherworldliness. One crisp morning, as John was preparing to feed the animals, he saw a familiar figure approaching from the horizon. Squinting against the rising sun, he recognized Riley. A wave of surprise and joy washed over him. "Riley! You're back! What brings you here again?" John called out, his voice filled with genuine warmth. Riley smiled, grateful for the welcome. "I've returned to learn more, John. There's so much more I need to understand," he replied, carefully choosing his words. John sensed the weight behind his statement. "Well, you're always welcome here. There's always something to do on the farm," he said, patting him on the shoulder. As the days passed, he resumed his tasks, this time with a deeper purpose. He recorded interactions, took detailed notes, and even used hidden devices to capture the essence of the human-animal bond. He observed the trust between John and the animals, the way they responded to his care, and how this relationship was a two-way street of mutual benefit. One particular incident stood out to Riley. A young calf had fallen ill, and John had stayed up through the night, nursing it back to health. The calf's recovery was slow but steady, and the gratitude in its eyes was unmistakable. Riley captured this moment, knowing it would be crucial in demonstrating his point to the council. As Riley prepared to leave Earth once more, he felt a pang of sadness. The farm had become more than just a place of study. It had become a symbol of what his own world could aspire to. He bid farewell to John, promising to return one day. Now again back in his homeworld, Riley presented his findings to the council. This time, he came armed with evidence, recordings, images, and detailed reports. He showed them the trust, the care, and the mutual respect that defined the human-animal relationship on John's farm. The council members watched in silence, their expressions unreadable. Loroth finally spoke. "And what do you propose we do with this information? How does this benefit us?" Riley took a deep breath. "It's not just about benefit, Loroth. It's about understanding and evolving. We have the power to forge stronger bonds with other species, to learn from them, and to create a more harmonious existence. This is the true advancement we seek." The room fell silent as the council members absorbed his words. For the first time, a glimmer of consideration appeared in Loroth's eyes. "Very well, mister. We will take your findings under advisement. Perhaps there is merit in exploring this further." Riley felt a surge of hope. It was a small victory, but a significant one. His mission was far from over, but the seeds of change had been planted. As he left the council chamber, he looked up at the stars, knowing that the journey ahead would be challenging yet worthwhile. Riley made more research. Now Riley, once again on Earth, loved the daily life of the farm. He had become a familiar face, not just to John but to the entire community. The local vet, Mary, often stopped by, offering advice and sharing stories of her own experiences with animals. These animals, they're not just livestock. They're part of our lives, part of our families, Mary explained one afternoon, as she helped treat a sheep with a minor injury. He watched, taking in her words and the gentle way she handled the animal. It was another piece of the puzzle, another layer of understanding the deep bond humans shared with their animals. The seasons changed, and with them, the farm's rhythm. Spring brought new life, with calves and lambs frolicking in the fields. Riley found joy in these simple moments, capturing them with his devices, knowing that these images held the key to changing his people's perspective. One night, as they sat around a bonfire, John shared stories of the farm's history. "This land has been in my family for generations. My great-grandfather started it, and we've been taking care of it ever since. It's not just a place, it's our legacy." Riley listened, realizing that the bond extended beyond just the animals. It was a connection to the land, to their heritage, and to each other. It was a sense of belonging that transcended time and space. "My kind has no such legacy," he said softly. "We move from world to world, always seeking, never settling. We've lost our sense of home." John looked at him, understanding dawning in his eyes. "Maybe that's something you can change. Start your own legacy, find your own place to belong." As the fire crackled and the night grew darker, Riley felt a sense of purpose. His mission had evolved from mere observation to something deeper. He wanted to bring this sense of belonging, this connection, back to his people. The next morning, as Riley prepared to leave for the final time, John handed him a small, worn book. "This is our family's journal. It's got stories, lessons, and a bit of our history. Maybe it'll help you understand us better." Riley took the book, feeling its weight and significance. "Thank you, John. I will cherish this." This was his last time on Earth. Back on his home planet, Riley presented his findings once again for third time, this time with a new perspective. He spoke not just of the bond between humans and animals but of the deeper connections that defined them. He shared stories from the journal, showing his people that there was more to life than just survival and conquest. For the third time Council listened, their expressions more thoughtful than before. Laura, still skeptical but less dismissive, asked, "I am asking for last time, what importance does it have for us?" Riley replied, "We can start by learning to see the value in these connections. We can forge bonds with other species, not as resources but as companions. We can find our own sense of belonging, our own legacy." The Council this time was curious and agreed to him. They agreed to explore these ideas further, to seek out and understand the bonds that could be formed with other life forms. As Riley left the council chamber, he felt a sense of accomplishment. His journey had just started, but he had taken the first step toward a new future for his people. In the years that followed, Riley continued his mission, traveling to different worlds and observing the bonds between species. He shared his findings, slowly but surely changing the way his people viewed the universe. And on Earth, the farm continued to thrive, a testament to the enduring bond between humans and their animals. John and his family carried on their legacy, their stories and lessons passed down through generations. In nights, under a blanket of stars, Riley would often look up and remember the farm, the place where he had learned the true meaning of connection and belonging. It was a lesson that transcended the boundaries of species and worlds, a lesson that would guide him for the rest of his life.